welcome to Chump Change, everybody, to the post show where we talk about the truth behind the lies, the season finale of which, and I am joined by the cast of that great episode. Welcome back, everybody. Autumn, Pink, Chris, and Nick. That really freaked me out because I didn't notice it at first.
It looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger's broke-ass brother.
Yeah, right.
He's got a wide face.
Donald Schwarzenegger.
Which this is going to be a first for Chump Change, because we always hear about the true stories that were presented to us and they didn't really get handed out correctly in the envelope round and stuff like that. But Chris, we had a lie from you that wasn't a lie.
It was a lie.
Yes, but not for the reasons you think. Why did you keep poo? And how long ago was that? I want to hear all the truth. Is it everything we heard?
Okay, I'm gonna give you. Well, I'll give you the full truth.
Yes.
Is one, it was poop from like 2 weeks ago, and two, it's no longer in my freezer, and three, it was a worm, not a bug.
Boy, you got us.
Bro.
You got us good. Right?
I get it.
I want to remind you that he was on a conference call and dangled the poop while he was driving to the vet, and it wasn't sealed in a plastic baggie. It was like in a doggy bag, and I think maybe tied, but I wasn't sure.
Double bag.
So Chris just put shit like open in his fridge.
Double bag.
See, this is one of those things, like, I'm not a pet owner, and this is why. Because I don't want to have to do this ever for anyone, myself or anything else.
And so you've brought it in for analysis, but have not heard back yet.
They have not said, but they were like, we're gonna give him some worming stuff just in case.
Okay.
Just in case. Because again, I was like,
were you concerned your dog pooped on a worm?
Yeah, I was like, because the angle that I was going to pick up the poop. I was like, did he poop on that worm, or is that worm just coming out of the ground, or is it coming out of the poop?
Was it an earthworm?
Is it like an earthworm? Yeah.
Well, that's. I was like,
or a tapeworm.
It looked a little more like a poop worm.
Like a tapeworm.
But it could have been. It could have also been like a smaller earthworm. I'm not a worm expert. That's why there's an analysis guy. You know what I mean? Like,
cool. All right, well, that blew me away. That usually I go into these episodes knowing everything and have to kind of and just run it. That caught me off guard. That was great.
Well, I hope I didn't inadvertently cheat. That's just, I want to say that.
No, you
that wasn't mine, because I was
that
like, I don't have it in my house. It's a bug, not a worm, and it's like it's gone.
I feel like
you
that's
don't
not
have it in your house. The key word you're missing is anymore. Anymore is the key thing.
Yeah, it was extremely convincing because it happened.
So on to the envelope round, though. So Chris tried to tell a story about being the lead in his High School Musical, but that was actually Nick. So Nick, what was the story there? What was the musical?
The musical was 42nd Street, and I played Julian Marsh, and it was super fun. I had done shows for 4 years, I think, maybe 3 years, starting in sophomore year. And then I just auditioned, and my brother used to do he used to be lead in his plays when he was at high school, the same high school that I went to, but we were 4 or 5 years apart, so I never got to go to school with him. So I kind of followed in his footsteps and got the part of one of the leads in this play, and it was super fun and super nerve wracking. And if you're out there watching this and you're a high school kid and you're thinking about doing it, you should absolutely do it. It's so fun, so fun.
Now you did you've done all your stand-up stuff at like. Do you think that helped prepare you to be in front of audiences like that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, anytime you want to be a performer in general, I think that you guys will say the same thing. Like, you guys know, when you're on stage, it makes you better on camera and vice versa. Comedy is a different art form, but being comfortable, being vulnerable on stage and putting yourself out there and kind of being a goof is something I've always loved to do. And it was nerve wracking at first and still nerve wracking to this day, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, for sure.
How many numbers did you have in it? Do you remember?
Well, one of the reasons I liked it was because I didn't have to dance. Everyone else had to dance. I was like, I don't want to dance. And my instructor was, Yeah, the drama teacher was like, I think we could probably get away with you not being the dance numbers. I was like, great, because tap dancing is I'm already in marching band, and I was thinking about doing choir, and if I have to learn how to tap dance, that's one too many nerdy things. That's just not going to happen for me. But I was in I had like it's a lead, so I had like a lot, like maybe an eighth or a quarter of the dialogue across the play. I mean, the female lead I think is actually the lead, but Julia Marsh is like the co-lead. So it was fun. It took a while, it's an exercise in having to memorize a script and learning the songs. And I was I'm naturally musical because I'd been in band since like fourth grade. So humming a tune was never hard for me. But the singing was actually the easiest part. The acting is when I go back and look at clips of myself. I'm like, dude, you were atrocious. But like everyone else was too. So it was probably okay.
They're not going to believe those tears.
The problem is you weren't able to distract them with your horrible dancing, so you had to like really focus in on the horrible acting. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is this: like you just don't, you can never like dismiss how important it is. Like watch yourself back, and this was like we're talking 98. So like we didn't have phones where I could just record myself or like listen to myself or whatever that stuff. I just had to take it at face value that I was awesome. And it wasn't till like a year later when we were like, oh, the tape finally came out because the videographer that was probably someone's brother or cousin or whatever was like the professional videographer had come and set up a VHS tape. And I remember we were doing like our senior year, I think it was actually the end of the year. We were doing our senior year party with the drama club. But they're like, everyone, we're going to go and watch this, we're going to watch 42nd Street. I was like, dude, I'm stoked. And I was, from the second I walked on stage, I'm like, oh, I should have gotten a lot more criticism from my drama teacher, but I think she liked me too much. I was terrible. Every line I had was spoken way too fast. I was okay at singing, but my stage presence just made you want to just leave the building. It was bad. It's pretty bad. But I had great hair back then.
Always good to learn from that stuff, though. Always good to learn from that stuff. And now we got to come full circle again. Chris, your envelope story.
Like a worm.
Every single time you're on this show, like we ask people to give us stories, and we get like 4 or 5. You give us like a new batch of stories every time you're on here. And this one was that you tried to, you worded it differently, but you tried to hunt a deer with a broom.
Yeah.
And it was like you were trying to hunt the deer like for stalking someone. What was the story?
Well, okay, so I have this one friend who has this like dog, and their dog, while they're out for a walk, attacked a baby deer. And so ever since then, the deer would if the deer saw her, it would chase her, like attack her.
A vengeful deer.
And yes, this deer would like go like full like revenge after her.
God.
And it kept doing it to the point where she I guess was afraid of it and afraid to go outside. She would send me pictures of this deer staring at her, like mean mugging her. And I'm like, what is it? It's a deer. She's like, it won't stop. It won't leave me alone. And they'd, I mean, it was like one of those things where they'd run into, like, were being chased by the deer, ran across in the middle of the road, and was like as if she was being like flagged down a car and got in some stranger's car to take her
like
back
a scene from
to
Scream,
her house,
basically.
Yes, like a horror movie of this deer. She called animal control, but they were like, well, it's its habitat, and then called like the parks department. They're like, well, it's not a park. And then called like 311, and they sent a cop, and they were like, what do you want us to do? Like, and they were like, well, this deer's harassing me. Like, well, stop, leave the deer alone. It's like, I'm not doing the deer. The deer's chasing me. I can't go anywhere without this deer chasing me. Anyway, one time she got stuck in her car, and I lived pretty close, and I went to go help. And so I had a broom, and like, I like got her out of her car. I was like, go get me a broomstick. We have to confront the deer, because it's going to continue to chase you unless you have to teach the deer, like, hey, leave them alone, So then,
wait, did you have a broomstick, or did you request a broomstick?
I requested a broomstick.
The weapon of choice. Go
Well,
give
I
me
was
a
like,
broomstick.
I was like, I need something long and pointy. Do you have like a broomstick? Or do you have a broomstick? They got a broomstick. So then I had to go like, because there was an area that the deers frequented that they had, her and her dog had been avoiding. And I was like, we have to. She's like, oh, we can't go there. I was like, no, we have to go there. That's where we have to confront this deer. And so I like forced her to go with me into this like back wooded area and look for this deer. And then sure enough, like the deer appeared, and then like she ran and hid, and I was like, no, you have to be here. It has to know like that not, you know, like it won't come after me. It'll only come after you. You have to be here. So she was like crying at this point. And then I was like, no, just come stand by me and I'll confront the deer. And then I'm like, I have this, I'm not gonna hit the deer or anything, but I'm just like, hey, deer, hey, you know, like I'm yelling at this deer, trying to like convince it, like, hey, like, leave them alone.
This happened a couple of weeks ago then, right?
Well,
how recently did that happen?
It was not, yeah, because I was wearing a face mask during all this.
Oh, wait, what? I was like totally going along with the story like this is way in the past. I mean, basically the other day, you went after a deer with a broomstick.
I guess.
Chris.
I mean, it wasn't the other day.
Chris. Did this
I was just
overlap with
scaring
the poo
it.
in the fridge?
Because like a month or two ago, he showed me a picture of the same deer and was like, "This deer's bothering my friend." I didn't know he was gonna go fucking declare
You gotta
war
do it.
against the deer.
No. See, I'm with you, Chris. You made the right choice.
Yeah.
You got to take the fight to them. That's what you
Like
got to do.
James and the giant peach. You're just like confronting the rhino. It's like,
Poor
and so-
Liam Neeson deer.
So then,
Yeah,
You
it
guys
sounds like your
just live a
friend
different
was-
life than I do.
Yeah, it sounds like your friend was getting all up in the deer's space. Do you ever think about that?
well, I mean, to be fair, it was also her apartment. Like, it's where she lived. It was like her back. It was like within 10 feet of where her place was. I think it was a
Here's another
shared
question.
space.
Did the little deer make it, or it didn't survive? Because if it didn't,
don't
you
know.
made like the Batman of deers. Right?
You're the
Like, and
Joe
you're gonna
Cool
go
of deers.
challenge that with a broomstick? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Joe Chill.
Dangerous.
I don't know. I don't know the specifics of what deer died and what didn't. Okay, because all I know is that I confronted this deer and I yelled at it, and then the deer like ran away. Okay, and I was like, "See, deer's more scared of you than it is of you, or whatever." Then the deer came back, and was like got closer, and I had to check, but then she was like, "Oh wait, I don't think that's the same deer. That's not the right deer."
Oh my God.
So then I just like, well, I was like, well, just in case, I like yelled at it and it ran away. But so I don't know. I think the deer's still out there.
The deer is out there picking its time.
Shit.
Holy
But-
shit.
Shit. That is scary.
You are an adventure of a human being, and I love it. I live for it. Like, having you on this show, I'm like, we're gonna hear some stuff today.
Well,
Like,
if you ever
I
have
often
a
have to
deer
warn
problem,
our contestants. Yeah.
yeah. Well, part of the reason she'd reached out to me is because my dad is a deer. Like, he studies deer.
The deer expert.
That's how this conversation had started. My dad is like, he like studies deer like professionally and teaches about them for like
It's a deer
the
podcast.
school. Yeah, he's deer. I got a fucking book. He wrote a textbook on deer. I'm not kidding. He's the guy who wrote the book on deer. So
And they
that's
have
why she was like,
vengeful
"Hey, can you ask?
tendencies,
Can you ask your dad about this deer?" And I was like, "Well, he didn't have much to say because he's like, you know, unless without like spraying mace at it, which you can't do because it's a public area and it hurt the deer." He was like, "Do you try an air horn?" She'd already tried an air horn.
So we went to
He
chapter
was like
6 in the
third in
book.
line.
Broomsticks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
broomstick, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, air horn out of the question. You go broom.
Gotta
I wasn't
go.
gonna hit it. I wasn't gonna hit the deer. I was just like, in case it did charge, I wanted something to, you know. But
Like he does
wanna
this,
see-
like it was gonna bite around it, like and like he's gonna hold it off.
I want to see Chris Star Wars kid against a deer. Just
I love
All
that.
right,
I'd pay
you
for
know
that.
what?
I
I
need
would
that
love to
right
hear
now.
more stuff. We've already gone longer than we normally do, just because Chris is here, and so those are the true stories we didn't get to hear during the actual episode. Thank you everybody for joining us. Blaine, you told the truth, so you didn't have a lot to
Not much
Didn't have a lot
yet,
to
but
lie about.
I am curious what happened to that film equipment because I might have left some shit behind in that carnival.
God damn it.
in a
All right.
fear.
And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. That was the season finale. Of course, we will be back July 29th for season 3 of Chump with more people and maybe some of these guys returning as well. Reminder to tune in and play along live. It's free. You just got to make an account on the site. So you do that, you can play on Wednesdays. We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good one. Enjoy your summer. Goodbye.